Digger welcomes us back live to Atlanta. Recent round of pit stops.
Yeah, right there on the 83 car. Brian Vickers, close call right there. Right front tire almost got hit by the 17. It almost gets away from them. They got a new front tire changer this week, but right now he's second. And the 24 car has been up front all day and been real solid. They drop a lug nut on the left rear. It costs him. Now all of a sudden he drops back to fourth. He's got to drive his way back up.
62 laps to go. Jeff's picks for today's AT&T fastest pit crew. We're going to leave Jeff Gordon in there for now. Kurt Busch's crew, Clint Boyer. Don't forget to vote for the AT&T fastest and most valuable pit crew of the year. And Kurt Busch dominating the race. See if he can hang on here. Let's rejoin Darrell, Larry, and Mike.
We are back under green. Kurt Busch, Brian Vickers, Clint Boyer, Jeff Gordon, Carl Edwards. Jimmy Johnson served his penalty, had to restart tail end of the longest line. He and Dale Earnhardt Jr. came in on that last caution flag lap to top up with fuel. But Larry, they've got to go 61 laps from here.
And the one I would be the most concerned as we look at this wad here, 3 and 4 wide, the one I would be the most concerned about going that far would be the guy leading the race, because normally the Dodges do not get that good of fuel mileage.
And I tell you, just look what a lead he pulled out, Larry, in one lap. I mean, that thing has got some giddy up.
3/4 of a second in one lap over Brian Vickers.
Of course, when you got a great handling car, and it looks like his is that one of those, that makes that engine look good.
Now, I will say this, contrary to the Dodge fuel mileage, now Michael Waltrip in the 55 car, the 25th position, he's got problems.
Came off turn 2 and went straight to the back.
Yeah, well, Ruderman's already had an engine problem, and so has Marcos Ambrose. Whoa, we got a car in the wall.
Hard, Scott Speed.
Scott Speed. Caution,
oh,
will
more
fly.
cars.
Biffle got turned around, hit the wall hard in a 16.
Everybody else limps past.
Boy, Biffle's day just went from bad to worse. Get black flag, held in the pits.
Now that's been a bad day. He was running 31st at the time of the crash.
Moving to the garage, to the garage.
Yeah, looks like it'll take him out of the race. Well, let's see how this starts with rookie Scott Speed in the 82, the silver car.
Scott had kind of gotten caught in the middle of some of this restart mess. He just pushes up the hill right there and gets caught.
That's David Reagan?
I think that's David Reagan, and that's the second time that's happened to David Reagan. Biffle actually did that to him earlier. And then this is just chain reaction here. Looks like
David
the 12 is Strimmy and.
Well, let's watch from David Reagan's car.
Right top. Feel it out, moment caution is out.
Looked like Reagan was pretty well up the racetrack, and
Jeff Burton, the 31 car, was a part of that chain reaction back there. The Caterpillar car going through the grass.
Boy, I'll tell you, look at that. That splitter beats all I've ever seen. It's like a snow plow. Look at that.
Now that will knock Scott Speed out of the top 35 in owner points. And now Michael Waltrip was dropping back, but here's his view.
Clear there. In front of you, right in front of you. You see what you got. The 82's up against the wall. Come all the way down. Come all the way down. Come on down. You're good. Come on up. Hey guys, we got the left side splitter. We got the left side splitter some right there. We got to get it out.
When cars come off the corner here, if you're pushing a little bit and you got cars all around you, your car can just take off a lot like what Scott Speeds did now.
You know, that's doing a pretty good imitation of a Caterpillar dozer blade right there.
It really is.
Now here's the situation. Pit road is still closed right now. There you see Greg Biffle talking to his crew chief, Greg Irwin. And what's interesting with this caution, this puts these cars within the window now of being able to make it to the end. And I've got to believe with only about 13 cars on the lead lap, we may see a lot of those lead lap cars come to pit road.
You got 50 laps. Yeah, about 20 minutes, you got 50 laps.
Sounds like they're debating about trying to get this car repaired.
Whether they can get it fixed and get it back out and do any good or not.
57 laps to go. And the only way that Biffle would be able to pick up positions would be if other drivers have further trouble and drop out of the race.
Well, there's a number of guys that are ailing right now, but that are still going, and the question is whether they'll make it or not. And I don't think you can get it fixed and get back out there in a time to salvage anything, really.
None of those drivers, though, are more than 4 laps down, except Mark Martin is down 12, David Rudeman 24, Reed Sorensen down 64 laps. So he could probably move ahead of Rudeman, but somebody else would have to fall out for Biffle to gain. Well, now we're down to it. If you stop now, you can go on gas, but what about, can you make it on tires? Do you want to make it on tires from here?
Well, I go back to my FedEx understanding the race. This race normally, with about 25 to 30 laps to go, normally will have a caution. But now you can't bank on that. I just believe with only that many cars on the lead lap, about 12 or 13, that if you're back there about 6th on back, come get four more fresh tires and make sure you've got enough fuel to get to the end.
What caused this wreck, or what caused this mess? A restart, a caution, and we're getting ready. And we're getting ready to have another one. And cautions breed
cautions.
Especially when it gets near the end of the race.
Well, that's what we said at the top of the day. The cautions here come in clumps, interrupting long runs of green flag racing.
And the only guy that I don't think is really worried about what happens is that 2 car. He is in a league of his own today. He is checked out every time.
Well, you know what? I don't want my driver's opinion whether I need to come to pit road right now. I want my crew chief's buddy's opinion. Jeff Hammond, what do you think? With only 12, 13 cars on the lead lap, we know how important fresh tires are, even over 2-lap tires. I want to make sure I've got enough fuel to make it to the end.
Well, the thing is right now, Larry, I think you've already pretty much pointed it out. These guys are at the back. There's not that many cars on the lead lap. I think that, you've got to take advantage of it. Don't beat yourself. We always like to use that analogy. If you're at the back anyway, come get the tires, come get the fuel, make the necessary adjustments, because let's face it, so far you have not been good enough, Chris, to be able to kind of like catch up to the 2 car. So why not make some more adjustments to try to gain some positions?
Kurt Busch, it's been 22 races since he's won a race. He's led more laps today than all of last year. Let's just recap. He dominated through the first 200 laps, but on lap 204, Jeff Gordon, his first lead of the day, passing Kurt Busch. And you see Bill Elliott and Sam Hornish Jr. This brings out a caution on Jeff Gordon in the race off pit road. Look at that with Kurt Busch and Jimmy Johnson. And it's Gordon who wins that race off pit road. Mark Martin, the pole sitter, with some problems at right rear tire. That brings out a caution. 75 laps to go, and Kurt Busch recapturing the lead for the 5th time in this race. And then our 10th caution moments ago, rookie Scott Speed involving Greg Biffle and others. And, I want to go back to Kurt Busch as we got to look, because last year there was some frustration where a shifter during a race kind of broke in his hand, and he talked about the equipment at Penske Racing and didn't necessarily call anybody out, but raised attention, stuck with it. They reacted around him, and at least so far this year, he's hung in there in points and is having the run of the day.
Well, so far, again, that's what you have to do, Chris. You got to understand, Kurt Busch is a former champion. He knows what it takes to win. He's got a crew chief right now that, can do the right things for him to give him an opportunity to win races. There's Pat Tryson. He's worked for a lot of great teams in his career, and he's trying to give his driver what he needs. And when you give the man what he wants, look what he does with it. He goes up to the front and he leads.
And Roger Penske saying emphasis on the 1.5-mile tracks. 10 of those 10 races are run on that during the course of the year. That's the emphasis, as you see rookie Scott Speed being hauled away. And we hope that pit road will be open here.
I believe it will, and we're going to find out whether we got any takers. I think Larry and Darrell have been talking about who's going to come and who's not. I'm looking for most of them all to come down and take advantage of it.